we see ourselves sitting at the controls. We are delicately and soothingly mapping out our course, where we'll be going next. The console ahead of us, marking our skin and our clothing with a bluish light. We think about the subsistence we have, what we've been eating, food cubes, cubed fruits, rectangular bars of oatmeal and other grains. Such is the life aboard a spaceship. Reaching forward, grasping, and nudging. The controls give way to us as we press a button here and shift the pilot's gear side to side. The joystick changes direction and we begin our course towards this strange, inviting place. This place is unlike anything we've ever seen, we can tell already, just from seeing the surface. It's large, blue, and dark green, dots of bright green along it, symbols of flora that have been unfounded and unexplored, undiscovered until just now. We are the first colonists, finding our way on a single vessel. As we drop closer, we see from a distance our ship touching down, breaking orbit, and finally beginning to land on an open field, one of the few we can see on the planet's surface. It is not the most delicate thing, but we manage, touching down as the landing gear points towards the fertile surface. As the gears touch down, the console lights up with a series of markers, panels, extended information on the surface in its makeup, oxygen levels, levels of hydrogen, helium, and other gases. It's safe to breathe here. Astoundingly. It looks like we won't be needing a spacesuit after all. We gently ascend from our chairs. Coming closer and closer to the exit of the spaceship, our boots klaxoning, until finally we're standing at the doorway, reaching forward to press the big button that extends the gangplank and opens our way forward. The finger lifts. It touches down on its target. And finally, the door begins to slide open as it is pressed inward. We see a long, metallic, telescopic piece of metal extending and unfolding outwards until it hits something like ground. And when it does, It stops, pushing over some tufts of grass where it lands. The brightness of this new planet, even at night, is astounding as well. The moon is like a sun. It glows in beams. We find ourselves moving forward, stepping 1 foot down at a time, descending into this new dominion, until finally we put our foot down into the grass. The first steps on an alien world. Touching down, cemented in place for a moment. The awe and the majesty, the invitation to explore, the wealth of visuals that occupy the mind. Trees taller than a skyscraper loom in the distance. Animals perch in the smaller flora, the structures of wood created by nature. Things unlike anything seen on Earth. Some of them with more than one tail. Some of them with more than 2 eyes. And some with more than 2 arms and legs. The planet has already given us its first gift. The gift of discovery. It has shown us something we've never seen before. We have to wonder, which direction do we go in first? In our minds, we point forward, directly from the front of the ship. We take that direction, and we begin walking. As the suppleness of the vegetation beneath our feet gives way to each press of the foot, the sounds become louder. Sounds of animals, sounds of birds calling, fish swimming in a nearby body of water. The sound of the flora, of alien breezes moving through the grass, through the ferns, through the leaves. We take advancements slowly and steadily toward this threshold between a plain and a forest. As we reach that threshold, we reach out our arm, touching a tree. Feeling the bark. It's ancient, but not by this planet's standards. This tree is only several decades old. Not unlike the oak of our own planet. The distant memory of Earth stirs in our minds. we transgress through the threshold. Moving forward, moving onward. We leave the tree behind us, stepping further and further into this dominion. The vines draped above us, the roof and ceiling, the canopy of leaves. Above that, the wisping of small critters along the forest floor. The motions of scurrying animals of strange but wonderful visualness. It's almost too much for us to take in. But there's a smell to it too. It's unlike anything we've smelled before. It's a new world. Like a ripe fruit. Like the pureness of pine. Turning to our right and left, we do see strange, oddly shaped spheroids dangling from the perches of branches, just out of reach. And beyond those, creatures that seem to swim in the air, just below the roof of the canopy, like jellyfish, glowing and bioluminescent. Their circular circumference like wings, drifting through the air, beautiful and graceful. They waft as if caught by the breeze. Schools of these creatures seem to be moving in packs betwixt the long formations. It's difficult for the mind to settle on one thing, but what we can see is that ahead of us, there is still a whole world yet to be seen. We take one more step forward. We hear the movement of a stream. Of exotic species clamoring through the water. An environment rich, profoundly rich. Rich in science, rich in sounds. Rich in something beyond exploration. Something that the human experience has been missing. An evolution of our senses completely. We take that next step, seeing a log toppled over between two ends of the roaring current taking one foot and leaning it up, planting ourselves on the log, taking the other foot, following suit. The balance is not too difficult, one foot in front of the other. Beneath us, what can be described as fish hop through the air, swimming upstream. Perhaps it's their mating season. Their fins are exotic and colorful. They may even be poisonous. Their scales glimmer in the moonlight. As we reach the other side, we see the area is saturated with neon-tipped plants, waiting to be moved through, like the tail of a peacock. The feathers, beautiful and distracting. We push through them, seeing the light catch and shift across their surface. As we venture further on, the sounds become anomalous and strange. The exoticism, the foreign, the alien, almost starts to feel like a new home.